You're listening to Every Day's a Saturday USMC Veteran Podcast.
Now introducing your host of Every Day's a Saturday USMC Veteran, the one-man show, Brian Roof.
What's going on, friends and fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another great day, another great interview. I'm excited for this one today. But before we get started, let's talk a little bit. So if you guys can tell, my voice sounds a little messed up because, of course, we're going into summertime, last week with the kids going to school and they bring home the sickness. Yeah. We started off actually it's funny. We started off school year kind of like that, getting sick, and now we're going to end it that way. Cool. All right. Bring it home to dad. But anyhow, if you guys haven't had a chance to go check out the website, please go check out the website, EDASUSMCvet.com. That's where you can check out all the shows, all the previous shows from last year and all the new ones coming out this year. A lot of great interviews going on. I'd like to do a special shout out to podguest.com. Thank you so much for, considering me in part of your network and sending me all these great people to interview. And my next guest is one of them. She is an Air Force veteran. She also is an author, and we're going to get to learn all about her and hear her story. We got Bree Sprual, right? Is it Sprual?
Yes. Yeah, you said it right. Yeah, you got
bada bing, bada boom. Man, I must have ate enough crayons today because I'm on point.
Usually, if it's anywhere close, I'll answer to it, but you got it right.
All right. Well, shoot. All right. I could take that.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's get to know all about you. Tell us where you grew up.
Right.
What made you decide to go into the good old Chair Force and,
Yeah.
let's get to know all about you. It's your time.
All right. My mom was actually in the Air Force as well. Her and I were the same AFSC, so I think you guys call it MOS or is that Army?
Yeah.
Okay.
MOS, right?
Yeah, so we had the same job. So I kind of grew up all over. She just retired January 22. So actually I got orders here. Yeah. So I got orders here after she retired. They wouldn't let us be in the same place at the same time because same AFSC. So she retired in January. I got orders, came down here in April. So it kind of worked out. So yeah, I'm kind of just from all
really
over.
Cool. Yeah, and that's one thing about the Air Force, right? You guys get to travel a lot, and there's a lot of different bases all throughout the US. So I imagine you were a little bit of a military brat then.
Absolutely. What's funny is, growing up, we were moving like every 4 years. And so like I joined and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see the world. And I was stuck at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois for fucking forever. I was like, please get me out of here.
Yeah, it starts to feel that way. You're like, gosh, there's all these other great bases and I'm stuck at this one.
Absolutely. And I didn't even plan on being stateside. Your dream sheet that you fill out. Do you guys get a dream sheet?
We kind of do. Yeah. We get to pick our top 3 places and don't get any of them,
Exactly. It absolutely is a dream because they're like, yeah, right. So I put all overseas and then I get mine and I'm like, where's Scott Air Force Base? And I remember someone in my class was like, it's in California. And I was like, I don't want to go back to California. And way off in the corner of the room, someone's like, it's in Illinois. And I'm like, oh, I'll go anywhere but Illinois. So yeah, wasn't really expecting that, but it was a pretty cool base. I'm not gonna lie, it was a great first base there.
Yeah. So let's talk more about your MOS and what you did, while you were in.
Yeah. So I was healthcare management. So with that AFSC, it's it's in the med group, but we have different areas that we can work with. We can either work in patient care where we're managing the clinics, doing all the behind the scenes work. I worked readiness for a really long time, which is deploying the medics. So that was my jam. That's the big sexy for our AFSC because you get to see the mission. Otherwise, you're just seeing patients all day long. There's the old lady whose hip hurts. You got these kids running all it's not you don't really feel like you're in the military when you're in the clinics. So I'm always like, that's where we go to die because you kind of lose your morale there. You're not seeing the mission. So I really liked the readiness portion because I'm deploying medics, especially during COVID. That was we really ramped up our initiatives during that time because it was crazy. We had all these FEMA support groups that we were sending out. So that was my favorite for sure to work in.
What years when did you join?
I joined, January 17, 2017.
Dang, okay. Nice. And
Yeah.
you did your 4 and got out?
So I actually did 6 and some change. I got out September of 23, so just recently, and I was medically retired because I was planning on, if you would have asked me, like, when I joined, I was like, "I'm doing the full 20. My mom did the 20. I'm 3rd generation Air Force. I come from a long legacy." Like, I was so gung ho, for someone that did not want to join straight out of high school. Like, at first, I was like, "You couldn't pay me to join. I'm never gonna do." My mom was like, "It's a good idea." I was like, I don't care what you say. I'm never doing it. I'm not you." And then I joined and I'm like, I'm never leaving. So
Not
yeah.
only do you join, but you get the same job as her, right? Like, so I mean,
Good. Yeah.
now did
Yeah.
that just happen that way, or did you see your mom doing it and you're like, you know what? If I'm gonna go, I want to do what she's doing.
So kind of, yes. So my mom, she did healthcare management, but then the time that I joined around that time frame, she was on a special duty and she was at the group level for vets. And so I don't know how the other branches work, but in the Air Force, they're always like, we take care of our own, like, So because she was at the group level, I got to pick whatever job I wanted. And I got to pick when I wanted to go, which my recruiter fucking hated me because of this. She could not stand me. But yeah, so I picked the job. I already knew I was guaranteed this job before I even joined. So there was no guesses. And I really am so grateful for that because I
That's
don't know if I could have done like security forces. Like, I don't think I
something a
could
little
have
more
done it.
gung ho. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I just don't like to stand outside in the extreme weathers.
I feel you on that. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I hated being just locked up in like a position of attention or something, and
Yeah.
but I can't even complain because I was literally stationed by the beach over here at
Oh,
Camp Pendleton, Oceanside.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so, my shit was going over to Middle East, and then they're like, "Oh, well, you know
Yeah,
what? You got to have some fun. Now go you get to the real
yeah,
shithole." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're like, "All right, let's reel it back in."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I know we're kinda like I guess we're working a little bit backwards. So let's talk more about, like, your boot camp and stuff like that. Obviously went through the Marine Corps boot camp. The you guys are 8 weeks long?
We're 8 weeks, which is, like, significantly shorter than you guys, right? Like, I think you
Yeah,
guys
oh,
are,
yeah.
like, what? Yeah.
13, I
Yeah.
think in total. I think it's 12 weeks of actual training, but I think it's a
Yeah.
total of 13 weeks.
Yeah. So, I loved basic training. I'm one of those weird ones where if you ask anyone else, they probably would tell you they hated it. I loved it. I loved it so much. I like structure. Um, I always tell people, like, you can daydream your way through basic training because you don't really have to think about anything. They tell you where to go, they tell you how to be there, they tell you know what
Under
I mean? Like,
Yep.
it doesn't take a lot of brain power to be in basic training. Um, so I loved it. I loved the structure of it. I didn't mind being yelled at. I would say the worst part was I joined a little bit older. I had gone to school first. My mom transferred her GI Bill to my sister, and I ran out of the GI Bill. So then I was like, I guess I'll join now. So I was 23 when I joined.
Oh,
And I
okay,
think,
yeah, so you were a little bit
yeah,
more mature actually at that point in time,
it was
and I
the
think your thought
18 year
process was
olds.
a lot different. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I could see the mindset is a lot different now that I've talked to a couple
sure.
people, and the ones that had joined later seem to really embrace it, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's because you kinda did life outside of this, and you're like,
Hmm.
I kinda know what this other side's
Yeah,
like." A lot of the
for
kids right
sure.
out of high school, we don't know, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we have nothing
Absolutely.
to actual,
Compare it
bounce it
to,
off of
yeah,
or compare to, right?
for
So,
sure. It's all
that
that
is interesting.
perspective for sure.
Right.
For sure. I'm like, "Well, I've seen the outside, that shit sucks. This is only 8 weeks. If someone's screaming at me, that's fine." Like, life's been kicking my ass for, like, 6 years before this, so what's 8 more weeks? So, yeah, I loved it. The 18-year-olds for me were like, the younger people in my flight were the hardest part, I would say, because
Right.
I'm like, they're very headstrong. When you're 18, you know everything. Like, no one can
Sure.
tell you anything when you're 18. So I was like, if you just shut the fuck up, we'll get out of this. And they don't want to hear that. So I really loved basic training. I had a great time. Honestly, if I
I
could do
feel
it
like
again, I
I
would.
definitely feel like you were that one, like, just shaking your head at some of these people and be like, gosh, damn,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, and you know what? I had a lot of, prior knowledge going in that I think was really helpful because at one point, my mom's done all kinds of different things. So she was in my same AFSC, but she did a ton of special duties, and she was a recruiter at one point. So I actually got to help her with her, like, dep calls, and I
Okay,
would
yeah,
help them march, and so I
yeah.
already knew all the marching movements, I already knew all the phasing movements, so I really came in at an advantage, and, um,
They're like,
there's a lot of
squad leader, you're a squad leader.
I ended up being an element leader, yeah, and, that was really cool, I really enjoyed that, honestly, I would say that that really set me up for success, I think, being able to have that, I wasn't confused, my mom makes hospital I mean, she still does, like, the hospital corners on the bed, so I grew
Right,
up
yeah,
knowing that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, like, that was really easy, I had girls in my flight that, like, I would be finished, and they're like, "Help me," and I'm like, "Okay." So so, yeah, she really set me up for success, and there's, like, military terminology that, we all use, and growing up, I didn't know it was military, so, like, I say it all the time, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm tracking," and people are like, "That's so military," and I'm like, "I grew up saying this stuff," so,
Right. You
yeah.
just yeah, it is that is there's a lingo that I think, so, people don't realize until when you get out and then you start going into different jobs and then you start using that same lingo, they're like,
And they're like, "What?"
yeah,
Yeah.
because, I ended up kinda going into, like, supply, so I kinda ended up going into some kind of, that same kind of world, and I
Yeah.
was referring to everything as gear and stuff like that. They're like, "It's parts," and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Alright, I gotta get used to this because we used
Yeah.
to use this other set," and I kept calling it gear, and they'd be like, "No, gosh damn, shut up, it's
Doing that.
parts."
Gosh, how many times do I have to tell you? Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. It's hard to get out of that, and I'm always talking like, "Oh my god, I hate." So when you get out and the VA is always sending you, like, a shit ton of emails, I'm like, "Give me the bluff. Give me the bottom line up front. I don't want all this extra shit." So, like, I always say that, and people are like, "Oh my god, you're so military. Like, you want the bluff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want, like, 12 fucking emails that are, like, pages long." So, yeah, for
yeah, get
sure.
down to the nitty-gritty, man.
Yeah.
That's
I
I
don't
think
have time to read all
they like
this.
to tap us out because they straight up know we
Yeah.
don't like that, right? There's like,
Yeah. You'll never
"Fill
get
this
to the end of
out."
this
You're
email.
like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I don't want that no more."
Just kidding.
Like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, now was your mom happy, like, "Oh, got her," or, what how was her feelings about it? When you
Absolutely.
finally went
She
to her
was
and you're
like,
just like, "You know what, mom?" Did you go
yeah,
up and tell her before you actually went
I
and signed, or
did.
did you kinda like you did?
I did. Yeah,
"I
like
drank the Kool-Aid, mom."
yeah, your parents, like when you have kids and your parents just like, "I told you so, this is." Yeah, so it was kinda like that, like, I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm out of the GI Bill, like, I can't finish school, I guess I'll join the military." She just I remember her smirking at me, and, um, it was kinda like just a smug look, and I was like, "I don't wanna hear it. Don't say anything, don't I just tell me what I need to do to, like, figure this out," you know? And so she was really helpful with the whole process of me joining and, like, any questions. Um, Going in, I know other girls, they were saying, like, the recruiter lied to me, and I'm like, "My recruiter didn't have a shot in hell of lying to me," because, like, I had, like,
You were
those
telling the
first right
recruiter
there.
like, "Yeah, so I know this, this, and that," and you're just like, "Oh."
Know stuff before the recruiter. I was like, "Oh, hey, I booked this job," and she's like, "How the fuck do you know that?" And I'm like, "Oh, because my mom told me." So she really hated me, that poor woman.
She probably hated you, but loved you in the same sense because you were a for sure, right? Like, I
Yeah,
know that's one thing
yeah.
recruiters are always stressed out, like, "Oh gosh, are they gonna
Are they
make it?"
gonna
I don't
back out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know in the Air Force how it works for the recruiters, but I do know in a lot of branches that they gotta actually complete and finish boot camp before they get the credit as them going in. Some get credit. I think the Army gets credit right off rip, but I think in the
Uh-huh.
Marine Corps, they gotta actually complete their
The
boot
whole
camp.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a
I'm
point in
not
time
sure.
in
Yeah.
Marine Corps boot camp where they're like,
Excuse me.
"Is there anything that you need to say that you
Oh
forgot to
god.
tell us?" And the girl,
Yeah.
"And if you don't tell us now, you're gonna go to jail." They're
Yeah,
had us
that
all shook.
fraudulent enlistment. Yeah, they get you on that. For sure.
Yeah,
I
so they're like
know.
the guy would be like, you see someone raise their hand, and you're like, "Oh, shit." And then they come back, they're like, "It's nothing." They just get these guys all scared, like, "I think I forgot to tell them this." you know?
really freak out. You're like, you're panning through your whole life. You're like, oh shit, is there anything I forgot to tell them? Absolutely. And there's always like that kid, because I told you my mom was a recruiter, so she would stress to them, nothing changes when you go to MEPS. Nothing changes, to the point where like my little sister, I think she was like 8, and she was like playing in her room, and she's talking to her stuffed animals, and she's like, nothing changes. Do not have a like coming to Jesus moment.
Ah,
So
oh, that's
yeah,
great.
there's always that person that switches it up and they're like, actually, I think I smoked pot 5 times instead of 2. And they're like,
Yeah.
you're going to jail.
Yeah, they get people. I'm not kidding. It is a successful little thing that they do because they put us all in a room and they just start like pacing back and forth. Well, at least for us, it was like you felt like it was some interrogator guy, but it was literally another recruiter, actually, from what I
Good cop,
heard.
bad cop you.
Yeah, it's another recruiter that he's like a career recruiter that comes in and does this whole spill talk. And it's just literally, yeah, it's yeah, I guess the weed out the ones, maybe, I don't know. But it is a funny part. Now, you said you have a little sister. Do any other siblings besides your little sister?
Nope. I just have a
What's
little
her?
sister.
Is she another Air Force, or
She is
she's saying no, no?
Army.
Oh, she went Army.
Everyone in my family is like done the military at some point. So yeah.
That is crazy. So I guess
Yeah.
when you're born in that family, like, well, that's
Yeah.
gonna have to
Guess
go.
guess that's what we're gonna do. Yeah.
You're gonna have to get some Marines in there. Someone in the
I
family is gonna have
know.
to finally
Someone's
be like,
gotta
you know what,
join.
time to be a Marine. Or maybe you guys are just smarter than everybody
I
else,
don't
and you don't
know.
want to join the Marines. So
Well, I have like a strong urge to not be like screamed at that much. So
yeah,
I've heard that
so
you guys get like ringed
oh,
all the time.
me and my buddy, we had a little podcast called the Devil Dog Experience, and one of the things we would do is we would go through the different boot camps and kind of talk through it, because we've obviously went through probably one of the more strenuous ones
Oh, the
from what
hardest one
we've
by
been able
far.
to see for sure. When we watched the Air Force one, that's what I think I was shocked the most, is like, gosh damn, they don't get
Mhm.
yelled at. Like every one of our drill instructors, they talk like this
Mhm.
because their voices are freaking shot because they've
Yeah.
been screaming, and none of them have
Uh-huh.
a voice left. I mean, from the time we literally
Get
stop
off the
that
bus.
bus, that one
Yeah.
dude comes on just firing up with about another 4 or 5 guys by these yellow footprints, and you can never
Uh-huh.
stand on the son of bitches right. But there's like, we're watching on there. It's like, come on, guys, get off the bus. Let's go. Come on. It
You
seemed
know why that is, right?
a little bit more leisurely, you know?
For sure. So what had happened was, they had this huge scandal that happened, like, I think they said like 2015, like early 2010s,
Oh,
and they had to revamp the whole MTI program. And so then it became like the MTIs couldn't make you do like strenuous, like, because I guess they were making them work out so much that the walls would sweat from all, I mean, it was boot camp. It was like
yeah.
legitimate boot camp. And so it got to the point after that huge scandal and it went like national. So then the Air Force had like, egg on their face. And so they were like, okay, we got to reel this back in. And now it gets to the point where like they'll ask you, like, when was the last time we made you do 1x3s? And if it's within a certain amount of time, they can't make you do it again. Like, it's
Oh,
insane.
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, like, when other people were complaining, I was like, "This is a fucking cakewalk."
Yeah,
And,
they
like, I
changed
remember
it.
one girl was talking to the MTI, and she's like, "You can't talk to me like this." I'm like, "No, bitch, you can't talk to him like this." So, yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
That is crazy. And I mean, for us to, the part for us is seeing it be males and females, right? Because we're
Mhm.
we're we're not used to that in the Marine Corps. When I was in, it was, here I am. When I was in,
Back in my day,
here
yeah.
goes the old veteran guy talk. But in 2000 to 2004 timeframe, the females were still just training on the East Coast. With There was males there too, but they never intertwined and never
Interacted.
did any
Yeah.
training together, and they still don't today. But now
Mhm.
there is females on the West Coast. They did start doing that. I think around 2016 is when they finally had females come up here. And it's always been a big thing from East Coast to West Coast, is because of on the West Coast over here we have these
Mhm.
freaking mountains that are like they call him Mount Motherfucker. There's like, there is some crazy
Yeah.
names for a lot of these things because when you're walking, you're literally kissing the freaking mountain. You're just, 70-pound
Yeah.
packs,
Yeah.
so they always thought that that was something that females would probably be like have a hard time because on the East Coast, it's a lot more flat ground. They have to deal with
Mhm.
the sand flea element, I guess. That's always been the fight between the East Coast and the West Coast is
Yeah.
they got the sand fleas. Well, we got the mountains and
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
that military banter is always fun.
I think that,
Um,
like, when you go through something with a group of people and you basically, are, like, traumatized, I don't know if that's the correct word, but, like, you're eating shit all day
no, for
together,
sure.
it builds that camaraderie,
When you're in the
so
suck, it's we call it the suck,
yeah,
and
we're all in
when
the
you're in the
suck
suck
together.
together, right? You
Yeah.
definitely come out with a different perspective.
Mhm.
It definitely changes a lot of things. Even for me, after the way we grow up in the 80s and 90s, women were not as strong and all this stuff, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Then I go in the Marine Corps and I see all these chicks out doing dudes, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
You're like,
they're a lot
"Just
tougher than
kidding."
everybody gives them credit for, and
Yeah.
all this stuff. So I had a newfound respect for even just females in general, and
Mhm.
actually training with them, working with them day in day out, and them being in the suck with us too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it
There's
was
some badass females out there, yeah,
oh
for
my
sure.
gosh, amazing. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
why it really pisses me off when people like say what they want to say, or their feelings about
Yeah.
how females what their job should be in the military.
Yeah.
It's like, no, man. You know what? At this rate of time, we should be willing to take and accept anybody willing to fuck and die for this country, or
Yeah.
still willing to put on a uniform and
Mhm.
do something a lot of people don't want to do. You
You
know,
see, a lot of times the people that are trying to dictate who should be in the military have never served in the military.
Right?
I'm like, "I don't give a fuck about your opinion, you've never been in it.
Yeah, right.
You're not part of
And
the 1%." So,
that's
yeah.
the hardest part about it too. And a majority of the people that are running our country never served, right? I mean, there's
Yes.
starting to be some in there, but um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that never had a chance to serve or even understand it. That's
Yeah.
why it's hard for people to relate to something when they never actually been through it.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
really
Yeah.
hard for you to get down to that level and understand things. That's why, like,
Mhm.
when people start hearing about veteran benefits or this or that, they start, well,
Yeah.
what the book like,
Yeah, why should they
uh,
get that?
yeah,
Yeah.
like obviously you never, experienced anything or understand this, like when we join, a lot of us, you were a little bit older, but a lot of us are straight out of high school and aren't really don't have any kind of direction, right? So we're looking at the military as our direction. Well, we go in there and we put our life in their hands, right? Because we become their property. Our social
Yeah.
security number is our number inside that
Yeah.
military, and that is associated with it. And they tell us they could tell my ass I can't go anywhere. They could tell me I could stay in
Absolutely.
my room all day. They could tell
Mhm.
me, what they want to tell me.
You can
Um,
get in trouble for getting sunburnt because 'cause you're damaging
yeah,
military property. Yeah.
100% having the wrong tattoo on your body after
Yeah.
you already joined and they see the wrong tattoo. There's a lot of different things that people have zero clue about what ended up
Yep.
happening when you end up joining because a lot of us don't even know, right?
Yeah.
We're signing up. We want to go do
Yep.
something for our country. We want to maybe some of us are in a bad place and at home and we want to get out of that situation and make it better. I mean, everybody has their
So many
reasons.
reasons. Yeah.
But the output that comes from it, right, is what a lot of people don't account for because you're not doing or seeing certain things every day. You don't for the average person, they're not around bang, 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 boom, boom, shots
Mhm.
and all that stuff until 4th of July, right? Like you hear,
Right. Yeah.
here it starts before 4th of July. I mean, we're already starting to bings and booms now. But like a lot of people just don't experience that all the time. And then when you actually end up getting deployed, right, and then get put into another situation that you can only train so much for, but when you're actually in
Yeah.
the real shit of it all,
Mhm.
you can't train for all the things that come that way.
Absolutely. You don't know what
you
you
know?
don't know.
No, and then so after all this stuff, the military is literally done with you when you're done.
Yeah.
When your EAS
Yeah.
time is there,
They're
they
like,
really
"Thanks,
don't
bye."
care about you no more. Your
Yeah.
unit
I don't give
becomes
a
all of
fuck.
your unit's like, are you done checking out? Like they don't give a fuck about you anymore. They
Yeah.
just making sure, did you go see S4 today? Did you go see S2 today?
Yeah.
All those types of things. They're not
You could
really
live
caring.
under a bridge the day after your DOS, and they would not give a fuck. They're like, "Not our problem."
Right. And so I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if things have changed a little better for that part, but there is
Mhm.
no easy branch going out of it, right? You go from
Mhm.
living your life chaotically or whatever, for 4 years, and then
Mhm.
it's a hard stop. You
Yeah.
leave that gate, they take your ID and shit, and
Mhm.
you're not really welcome back there no more because you have no
Yeah.
purpose for them anymore. You're not
Yeah.
doing their jobs. They're not doing anything for them anymore. Now you always obviously build those friendships up with a lot of those other guys, but they're still in it. They can't really do nothing
Yeah.
for you at that point, you know?
Absolutely. I think that's the hardest part and the part that people don't talk about because, when you can see the end of the light and you're like, "Oh god, when I get out, I'm gonna do all these cool things. I'm gonna dye my hair and pierce my face and grow a beard." And like everyone's so excited, and then you get out and you lose this sense of community and you lose this. I really had like felt like I had lost my purpose, honestly. Like this camaraderie is gone, this life that you knew is gone. So I think that that's the hardest part that people don't talk about. And like, you think that you'll be okay with this, but you go from something that's so structured to like, what the fuck am I going to do now? Like, what? No one cares anymore. Like, I'm not being told I have to do this, this, and this. I can live for myself. What does that mean? Who am I?
And a
So,
lot of us, it becomes our family, right?
yeah.
Or the friends that we once had at home,
Hmm.
we've replaced them, or we've just have a different commonality with these people. So you definitely want to keep in touch with them, or it's a different way. And then when you go back home, your friends, whatever, they're all kind of doing their own thing, maybe still
Hmm.
kind of in the same shit that you're just kind of at a different level at that. Then, not saying you're
Right.
better, you're just not at the same point at life anymore. You guys all have you separated for 4 years, and four
Right.
years in the military is a long time, really. and
It is.
and they say, you're still very impressionable until you're up to the age of like 23 to 25 years old. So a
Mhm.
lot of us are still very young and very impressionable. And,
Mhm.
and like you said, the whole you experience it probably more as of recent because you're just getting out, but that
Mhm.
disconnection, right? That I think
Yeah.
is one of the common words that a lot of people say on the podcast. When they first get out, they feel disconnected, right? That's a
Mhm.
huge word. And I think that we got to find a way to keep the connection, right? So that
Mhm.
people don't get, when you feel disconnected, a lot of things start to go bad, right? The, the, the demons start coming out. Everybody, and then you start having a lot of self doubt in yourself,
Mhm.
and you're getting losses now. You used to take wins all the time. Now you're starting to take a
Yeah.
lot of L's, and you got to start.
Yeah.
How do you get past all those L's, or
Right.
rejection? And you're
Oh,
like,
fuck
oh, when I
yeah.
get out, I'm gonna go get this job. They're gonna, hell yeah, it's this easy. Put a book an application in.
Yeah.
Over a
Like,
thousand
hot
people.
shit.
You
Yeah.
find out
Yeah.
like over 1,000
Everyone's gonna
people
want
applied,
me.
bro, and you're fucking. You got zero experience. That's the other thing is a lot of us leave the military and our jobs do not translate to shit outside. And so we're over here, trying to get jobs. I can't complain because I was very blessed. I literally got a job at Northrop Grumman in the aerospace industry, and I and I
Nice.
I, I was able to start the day after my contract did it in the Marine Corps. I was out on early EAS, and they were gonna was gonna allow me. I mean, they wouldn't allow me to work early. They said you have to finish out your contract in the Marine Corps. So
Right.
I was blessed. Now I know a lot of other people aren't so lucky, right? And
Yeah, for sure.
they just get out and they think it's kind of easy, oh, I'll just go get a job. And then you go look at like even like now the job, it's rough. There's not a lot of
The
job
market's
availability.
terrible. Yeah.
It's getting really terrible. And
Mhm.
that starts to drive depression. That just starts
Absolutely.
to drive a lot of things that go, and then you start taking it out on the people in your little circle that you're at home with, whether
Mhm.
that start to be a significant other, your parents, your family. You start having kind of almost animosity, right, towards
Yeah.
everything, and because, gosh damn, everything, or what the, you'll start looking at everything and how
Yeah.
everybody's doing things, and you're used to this other way, right?
Yeah.
And then you start talking shit like, gosh damn, what's wrong with these people, these high schoolers, this shit, talking shit,
Yeah.
right? It really starts to, it's a whole thing that I think a lot of us all go through. It's trying to find that bridge of how can we get these people that are getting ready to get out to not have to go through some of these things. I went through it for almost 20 years, of just trying to find myself and feeling disconnected and even pushing away
Mhm.
from my community for a while,
Right.
not knowing how much I really needed my veteran community once I
Mhm.
started plugging back in and getting connected again. And then I started saying, gosh damn, I miss this.
Yeah.
I went to this event in Nebraska called Hero Stock. We'll go give them a quick plug. It's coming up actually.
Cool.
It's gonna be at the end of this year. I think by the time you guys see this episode, it would already be happening. So if you went, I hope you had an amazing time. But Hero Stocks are amazing. I'm gonna be going to the one in Nebraska in September. It's an event I always go to because it's just amazing. Veteran musicians, a whole bunch of nonprofits that support veterans, and just all the veterans and first responders come together like a big family and a whole camaraderie. And it's like just one of those events you're like, damn, I want to go to it again. You know,
Yeah. I'll have to check
because
that out for sure.
no, for sure, it was amazing. Like I said, I get goosebumps talking about it because we had such an amazing time.
Mhm.
We did an Airbnb the night prior, all the podcasters and some of the nonprofits and the musicians. We all went to Airbnb and like had a pre-party and just got to know each other. We all got to see each other a lot. A lot of us met because of podcasting and stuff like that,
Oh,
right?
nice. Yeah.
So when we found out that event, that was like the big meetup for us all to kind of get to finally know each other
In
and
person. Yeah.
yeah, and break some bread and literally shoot the shit with each other. So um yeah, it's just an amazing event. And then I walked away from that just realizing, damn, I've really missed these people. They're more like-minded like me. They think more
Yeah.
like me. They aren't so offended if we just toss a joke around, right?
Yeah.
And just have fun, and just without being so fucking serious. So
Mhm.
it was just a good feeling, and I was like, gosh, I guess I've needed them more than I thought I did.
Yeah.
I've needed that community way more than I ever thought I did. So, I think I think we all maybe have to go through the process, right? And you gotta want something in your life. Can't be forced upon you. You gotta want that. So
Right.
I think when I was ready, I embraced it, right? And I was like, man,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go full forward with this. And this podcasting things has opened up so much doors for me and opportunity, and it made it easier for me to have a vessel to actually talk to, right? I can hear
Yeah.
people talk, but it gives me an opportunity to talk to. So, it's been a great way to connect back with people, hear other stories, hear what they're going through and say, gosh damn, bro, it's amazing because we're not alone. There's
Yeah.
so many more of us like this. It's just good to hear it from others, right? Because we're always, if there are sometimes we get stuck and we go hang out in our garages, we find our little places where we seclude ourselves and
Mhm.
we keep ourselves to, and then you start getting a little piece of that other world. You're like, oh shit, shedding
Mhm.
some light on you, finally getting some
Yeah.
light. It's just amazing how it's kind of transitioned. But like I said, I wish there's a better way for these younger people not to have to go through so much loss,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Friendships, relationships. There's a lot of things that start happening to you that you can't even explain it.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not sure that there is anything because I mean, they could put something into place like programs, but it's really within you. Like you
you
said,
still have to want, yeah. A
yeah,
and
it's
that's the hard part because
yeah.
especially when you're at that mid-20s, or the
Mhm.
younger 20s, right? Like you said, we're badass. We know everything.
Yeah.
We're unstoppable. We just got out of the, military and,
Yeah.
we're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us. That's the
Mhm.
hard part, is
Yeah.
because everybody else to you is fucked up.
Yeah.
Everybody else around you is fucked up. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, go look in the mirror.
Someone
It
else's
might be you.
problems. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be the common denominator, who knows? Yeah, I don't know if there is something either. I think, like you said, it's a part of the process, and I think the only thing that we can do as the older generation is talk about it, and maybe someone hears it, and maybe it resonates with them somewhere, and then maybe they can identify something earlier rather than later.
For
Because I
sure.
think for me, I
Yeah.
drug out too long and lost too many relationships. But
Mhm.
but
Just
yeah,
knowing you're not alone, honestly, because it does feel very isolating. So I think that you're right. That's the only thing you can do is just talk about it and hope that it resonates with someone.
and yeah, have more transparency with life. Like I think that especially in the men's world, that talking about the feelings is weakness sometimes in
Yeah.
some people's eyes.
Mhm.
That's a stigma I think that we got to somehow boot, right? Like, we all
Mhm.
go through stuff. We need our brothers there to soften the fall so we don't have to
Right.
fucking fall so hard
Right.
instead of them kicking you while you're down type shit too, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
think
the
people
other
are
thing.
uncomfortable with emotions.
Yeah. Right.
Like I know ooh, so this is a very masculine trait of mine. I'm very aware that I'm in my masculine energy, like big ass balls type energy, but I cannot stand to see people cry. It makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know how to comfort them. I'm really working on that, but I feel like that is something that's very common in like the world of men. Like they see someone cry and it makes them very uncomfortable, and they're just like, so they'll make a joke, and it ends up just making the situation worse. But it's just getting comfortable with having emotions, and emotions are okay, and like showing emotions because that's another big one.
I think the hard part about it is that in human traits, we tend to go really hard on stuff, right? Like
Hmm.
or overboard, right? So then you get these people that just start crying about fucking everything. Those are the ones that really wear me down.
Yeah.
And they're crying about situations they're putting themselves in, right?
Oh
Like
God. Yes.
you're self-inflicting yourself here.
Hmm.
And that's why I want to shake these kind of people and just like, hey, wake
Yeah.
the fuck up. You're
Yeah.
literally creating this problem yourself. You can undo it, but
Yeah.
you want to self-loathe and victimize
It's a vicious
yourself.
cycle,
Yeah, it's
honestly.
it's really rough, and those are the people that I don't have much of a toleration for.
Yeah.
When you
You're
keep
honestly,
creating your own world and living in it, and then you want
yeah.
everybody else to live in your reality that's not reality, that's rough.
You're so lucky the time frame that you served because I will say this new generation of military members, they are very soft. They are very, very soft. They are easily offended, easily triggered. Um, it's like if you are old school military, you're almost like a walking EO complaint because there's so many things you can't say. They don't want you to cuss. They don't want you to like, it's just like, this is the fucking military, bro. Like, grow up. You're offended that I'm cussing. I'm not cussing at you. I'm cussing in the situation. And like, they're just very soft. These kids are soft.
Yeah, and that's the scary part about a little bit of it, right? Like, I think people tend to forget, like, our enemy is not concentrating on some little baby bullshit. They're over there getting
No.
better, stronger, and now they don't have no feelings about stuff.
Yeah.
We've gotten to the point where that's the hard part, right? Is we go overboard with shit. We go too crazy, too radical with it.
Hmm.
Everybody's upset or in getting their feelings hurt, and then it just starts piling on. Well, if you're getting your feelings hurt about this, well, I'm gonna get my feelings about that. And then I'm gonna get my
Hmm.
feelings hurt about this because of that, and that. And it's like,
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
very high school,
I was
for
thinking to
sure.
myself, like, I don't know if I end up getting put in like some veteran home as an old guy one day, I might get kicked out, like
Yeah. This one's gotta
they'd be
go.
like, "Oh my gosh, he does not know how to identify people. Bye." Like he keeps
Yeah,
calling me sir and I'm a ma'am. No. Yeah.
yeah. That is honestly the craziest thing. Yeah, that's it's a crazy thing.
It is it's hard, I guess, it's weird, right?
Mhm,
How the iteration of life kind of happens.
mhm.
Here I am, I'm in, my mid 40s and I'm starting to look down at the younger people like, what the fuck? And I remember the 40-year-olds and the 50-year-olds were looking at me
Yeah,
and my generation like, what the fuck? So
yeah.
I'm just hoping that everything all pans out well, right? Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we got some hope,
Yeah.
because I think that,
Full circle.
it is one of those things, right? Now I find myself saying things that I remember saying, like the older people saying, and I would be like,
Yep.
"Man, the fucking old fuckers," and
Yeah.
I'm that old fucker. I'm getting to be like the gray hairs coming. I mean, it's definitely, and I'm looking at things, I'm like, "What the fuck? That's stupid," or
Yeah.
I'm just, it's
We
it's
become
crazy
our
how the
elders, it's
generation we do,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it's
But
insane,
that
and when I
that
first
probably goes to
joined
show you though that even though we don't like certain things when we're younger, there's probably a reason why it was
oh,
that
absolutely.
way, right? And
Mhm.
then when we get older, we're like, "Oh shit, that's why."
It clicks, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you have kids.
Oh my
A
god.
lot of things start clicking. You're like, "Oh," and then you find
Yeah.
yourself saying some things your mom's or dad said that you're just like, "Damn, I hated when
Oh,
my mom
yeah.
said that, and I fucking hear myself now."
You really
"Someone
do
over
turn to your
there,
parents.
someone over there is starving," and
Yeah, and when you're a kid, you're like, "No."
yeah, like, "Go feed
Yeah.
them, then, mom, shoot,"
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's kind
Absolutely.
of crazy, but, uh, I think, the ones we gotta just hold it down. We got, the people that are sane enough, I guess, hold it down. We're all crazy in some
Oh,
way or the manner,
absolutely. Absolutely. We use the word sane very lightly around here.
you know? Insane,
Yeah.
more like it. Eat,
Yes.
eat. Um,
Yes.
alright, so, we'll kinda go ahead and switch gears a little bit. So once you, got out of the Air Force, let's kinda talk
Mhm.
about what you've been doing now since, I mean, you're kind of freshly still getting yourself
Yeah.
out, but, let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that. What you got going on now?
Yeah. So I got out September, end of September. And like we said, the feelings were you do feel very isolated. It was really, really dark for a while, just feeling alone. And of course, you feel like, well, no one understands. And the people that do understand, they're living a different life. And the military just keeps going, whether I'm there or not. So now we have nothing in common. So um, that was really hard. But I will say, between September and now, I feel like I've done so much self work and I know myself better now than I ever have because being out of the military and not being a part of something bigger than yourself really forces you to focus on yourself.
Humble you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm not my rank anymore. I'm not Sergeant Sproul. People don't give a fuck.
Right.
I go to the gate to check in because I'm retired, so I still have my ID. I go to the gate to check in. There's like, okay, cool, have a okay. Like they don't care, so that was really hard. Coming to terms with that was really hard. And then when you get out, when you're like transitioning out of the military, they have this thing called TAPS it's like DoD wide. I don't know when they started, but it's supposed to help you transition easier. It's shit. Um, it's so terrible. It's a week where they just like water hose information down your throat. And then they lie to you. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're military. Everyone's gonna want to hire you." You get out of the military, and
Mm,
you're like, "Where's my long list of suitors?" And like, no one's hiring you.
yeah.
And so I was like, they're talking about how everyone's gonna want to hire you, and I'm like, I have all these degrees, like badass. I have degrees. I have experience. Like, I'm gonna get out, and everyone's gonna be begging me. Could not find a job. could not. I kept, and then, like you said, the rejection kept getting no, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Look
Mm.
at my expensive pieces of paper. Look at my" you know?
They
So,
said I would get a job,
yeah,
motherfuckers.
I wanna go back there and be like, "You're a bunch of fucking liars. Why don't you tell the truth?"
Just like a
Um,
recruiter, you son of a
yeah.
bitch.
I didn't get lied to by my recruiter, so now I'm getting
No,
lied
yeah.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, you corrected
So
your recruiter. Uh,
I'm getting on the back end though, that's why. So that was really hard for me, honestly, but I've done a lot of self-work. I've been going to therapy, which is something that I think is real stigmatized in the military. Like, mental health is real stigmatized. You always think it's gonna be like a career ruiner or people are gonna look at you differently. So that, and then I wrote a book, which we had talked about, and that will be coming out July 2nd. So that's really been my baby. Yeah, there she is. So
so yeah,
yeah.
elaborate on Phoenix and
Yeah.
a collection of poems, it says.
Yes, 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 yes. So, I don't know if you know about what a phoenix is, but a phoenix
Mhm.
is it's a mythological creature, that will crash and burn and kinda is reborn from the ashes. So I kind of saw I feel like anyone that goes through, like, that dark mental health, like, depressy type era, and then you come out of it, it's almost kinda like a phoenix, like, you've gone through it, you fucking made it by, like, the skin of your teeth, and then you come into this different spot, you know? And so, there's 2 halves of the book. The first half is the crash and burn, which is like,
Oh,
yeah, so I wrote that, and it's
love
very
that.
dark, talks about, like, depression, it just talks about it's just really dark.
The
It's,
darker side, yeah, yeah.
yeah, for sure, and then the second half is the rise, and then it's about healing, self-love,
Oh,
there's more optimism, so we end the book on a lighter note than we started it, and, yeah, so I'm very proud of that book.
I
Yeah,
love that. So what
thanks.
inspired you, or how did how'd you end up, you know, just started putting a pen to paper type deal?
Yeah, um honestly, so I got out, I was losing my shit, tattooed my fucking fingers, like, losing my shit, right? I still to this day, I'm like, "I can't believe I tattooed my fucking fingers." Um, so, yeah, I just started writing. I felt like I had all this pent up, and it was almost like anxiety. It was really heavy in my chest. I didn't know how to let it out. It was hard a lot of days to even get out of bed to, like, work out and, like, so I just started writing. I started writing however I felt, and just trying to be really raw and authentic with it, because I feel like the things that I like to read and the things that resonate most with me are the things where people have found a way to put into words things I could never. Like, when you search for those words, but you can't ever find them, and someone just comes in and says it exactly how you're feeling it. I feel like that's what really helps people resonate. And I think that, like I said, in the military, there's a real stigma behind mental health. So I really wanted to be transparent. I wanted to make sure that I was, you know, some of the proceeds from the book were going to go towards something, that I really believed in, that was going to give back to our brothers and sisters. So yeah,
Oh, outstanding.
yeah,
That's great. And you have found it to be another type of therapy for you as well? I mean,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure, yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone. I wouldn't tell, everyone to just like, "Oh, yeah, great." But for me, it was very therapeutic because sometimes I can't find the words to actually, like, I'm not a public speaker at all, like, but I
You
can
speak
write.
very well, so I could yeah, you wouldn't know that.
It's just you and me right now. Like, if I was in front of I gave the worst going away speech of my life, when I retired, actually. I finished the speech, and they were all still looking at me like I had more to say, and I was
Oh,
like,
sheesh.
"I'm done." So so, yeah, for sure.
That's great.
Not good at public speaking.
Oh, shit, that's pretty good. Oh, man. Well,
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing too that you wouldn't seek, therapy pretty quick. Seems to take a lot longer for a lot of other people. What was kind of that pushing factor that made you wanna go, right? Because
right.
I mean, other people tell us to go all the time.
Yeah.
But if we don't want to go, we're not going to go, and that's just how it
Right.
works, right? So how did you, in your mind, say, I need to go?
Yeah. So my situation is way different, because I was forced to go. Like, when I was in the military, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna go."
Oh, yeah.
So I was mandated to go seek, therapy, and then, I did that for about 3 years, and they medically retired me based off of a chronic PTS condition, but it was the temporary retirement. So, when you're temporarily retired, you have to continue treatment. So after my DOS, they were like, "You still gotta go. We have to make sure you're still fucking crazy. So we'll pay you like your VA money." So that was kind of how that helped. But once I got out and I wasn't seen on base anymore, I feel like so much more healing happened, because when you're on base, those are military members too. So they're PCSing all the time. There's always that change. You're having to build that new rapport. You're telling your trauma story over and over and over and over, to the point where I can say it now and there's no emotion behind it. I've detached myself from the event because I've told the story so many times.
Sure.
So not a lot of healing was done in the 3 years that I was in the military. It wasn't until after I got out. I've been with the same person consistently for about a year now, and I feel like we've just made so much groundwork.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's hard, I think that sometimes when we even go and seek therapy, we still hold back, right?
Oh,
I
for
think,
sure. Yeah.
and I think the most important part, and I think the the point at which I got the most help is when I was the most transparent.
Mhm.
When I finally was just like, all right, I'm just fucking gonna tell you how I feel all the time and just the thoughts to
Yeah.
go through my head or whatever, and let you dissect that, right? And see which,
Yeah.
it didn't work. I mean, obviously I was unemployable after that conversation. But but it's still it just finally took me to just say, you know what, fuck it. I gotta
Yeah.
just be real with the situation and stop kind of cutting corners and trying
Mhm.
to lighten situations, and like
Yeah.
I said, I just wanted someone else to I'm gonna throw this out on the table and you can look at it and decipher for yourself what you think.
Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
yeah, I think it just took me too damn long, right? And it's so much more in life could have probably been accomplished for myself had I've done things easier. And not that I wasn't successful. I was always whenever I was in my work, I was always trying to think about how am I going to get a raise, by doing
Mhm.
things, not saying, hey, give me money, but I was always like, what's the best way to maximize my money? I'm going to take Dale
Right.
Carnegie courses. I'm going to take black belt courses. I'm taking all these um,
Yeah.
different courses and stuff to try to better myself. I didn't really let
Mhm.
myself stop, but had I probably not had something kind of always holding me
Weighing you
down, I
down.
could have probably been better. I could have probably
Right.
been a better version of myself.
Right.
And so
It's
I
like
think I cheated myself,
Mhm.
in a way that I didn't give people the best version of me. And so now I'm starting to look back at it and saying, I got to get to the level of I want people to have the best version of me. Right. And that
Mhm.
way they can, it's not like, gosh, damn, what's wrong with him? I want them to have the best version of me. So I had to accept a lot of things and hit that bottom of like, all right, I've done this wrong. I've done this wrong. And just accept all these things where I failed, you know,
Mhm.
where I didn't really look at them as failures back in, at one point in time. But when I looked at a higher surface, I was like, that was a failure,
Yeah.
because of this, this, and this. Right. And I was able just
Mhm.
to, those kind of things finally, it's crazy how liberating life becomes once you allow yourself to let go of some of these things or just work through them, even when your childhood trauma or, things that you have as a kid, right? That you went through
Mhm.
and experienced, you know, um, and we don't think, oh, that was nothing. But then it starts translating later on in life, and you start seeing you're mimicking a behavior that you didn't like or something
Right.
like that, right? You're just starting to mimic it. So I think a lot of things can be better. Like I'm glad for you. I'm glad that you were able
Yeah.
to go get yourself help, right? Because you're gonna be the best version of yourself for people for years to come, and
Mhm.
not have this gray area of time where you kind of don't remember things, or you just,
Yeah.
you weren't your best self. You're doing shitty things. You're a hurt person or whatnot,
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you. When you're not your best self, you can't be your best self for other people, and it's kinda like, with that trauma, I think, especially in the military, like you said, like, when we're in the shit together, we're in the suck, we make jokes about it. So a lot of times when we go to
Yeah.
therapy, we'll make jokes about our trauma, and the therapist is like, "That's not fucking funny." So,
Yeah.
they're like, "Are
Yeah.
you okay? That's not funny." And so, like, it's almost like we normalize these things, and, we're like, "Oh, no, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is." But it's not, and that's not normal, and it's not healthy. And when you're right, when we start to kind of let go of certain things and shed that dead weight, it is so freeing and you can be your best self.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you gotta get down to that part and accept
Mhm.
things, that you may not wanna accept, but I think it's necessary.
Yeah,
Now,
for sure.
let's plug away your book a little bit more. Let's see, like, if someone
Okay.
wanted to go get it, we know it's gonna be out, so this episode
Yeah.
drops July 1st, so everybody,
Yeah.
tomorrow, the book will be
Go
out.
get your book.
Go
Yes,
get your book.
absolutely.
Where can we find it? It
So
says on
at first,
Amazon, only
yep,
right now? Okay.
Amazon only, for right now. I did sign a contract for the wholesale distributors, so like Barnes& and Nobles, Walmart's, Targets, but it'll go on Amazon first. My name, Bree Sprual, is not very common, so if you search my name, you will find all of my products. I should be the only like, I've never met anyone else with my name, so yeah, if you go on there, search my name, you'll be able to find all my products. I have that book. I have 2 journals that delve
Hmm,
into like wellness and mental health. So yeah, that'll
that's
all be there.
outstanding. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to put you in touch, with my buddy Donald Dunn. We kinda have we got Heroes Media Foundation, which is,
Mhm.
it's a whole underneath that is Military United podcast streams, which are the podcast.
Mhm.
We have authors. We have a whole thing dedicated to
Oh,
all our veterans who write books, memoirs, all that stuff. And then
yeah.
there's even a possibility to contribute to a monthly magazine that people
Mhm.
subscribe to. And then we have the radio portion of it, which is veteran musicians or family members of veterans that served. Um,
Mhm.
we have a rock station and a country station on there and a mix station. It's really cool. It's really cool. So I'll have to
Awesome.
put you in touch
Yeah.
there and get that way we get your book out there as well too. It's just another place to, get exposure. So we want to make
Yeah.
sure that as many people can see that. I think it sounds really interesting. I love the part that you go dark with it and then
Mhm.
you turn it, because that's how it is for a lot of people, right?
Mhm.
You go through the dark place, and sometimes before you find the light, um, you could be in light and then all of a sudden be in darkness too, right?
Yeah.
In any given
Yeah.
time, it's
That's actually
how to get the hell out of the darkness.
Absolutely. I actually one of the poems I had written was talking about how, like, healing is not linear and something that you can heal from today could kill you tomorrow because like you said, like, sometimes it just hits out of nowhere. Like, I know when I first went through depression, I had no reason to be depressed. I was excelling at work, I was in school, I was doing great, I was getting all these awards, I was working out all the time, like, there was no reason, but it doesn't care, it doesn't discriminate, it kinda hits you out of nowhere.
Right, and sometimes you just don't even know, right? Like, you're
Yeah,
just like, "Gosh, dang, I don't wanna feel this way, and I don't know why
yeah,
I'm feeling this way," but
yeah.
it's hard, and then you wake up in the next morning, you're still feeling like, "Damn it, I thought I was gonna see
Yeah,
this."
depression comes in, it's like I don't know if you've seen Step Brothers when they're like, "We're gonna fuck shit up." Like, that's
Yeah,
depression.
yeah,
We're
right.
gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. That's no joke. All right, well, you know what? I think, that about wraps it up. I appreciate you coming on and telling your story, talking about what you got going on. Is there
Yeah.
any last words that you would like to say before we leave to anybody? Any words
No,
of
just
wisdom, motivation, anything?
motivation, wisdom. Sir, I just told you, like, I'm not a you just really put me on the spot after I said I'm not a good public speaker.
That's what we
Um,
do.
Wow, this is like diabolical. Um, I would say just never feel like you're alone. There's always someone out there that's going through the same thing or who's been through the same thing. So it's just really important to know that you're not alone, even if it feels like that, and to go get help. To, like you said, there's communities where you can talk to people that are also veterans that are more like-minded, and they can tell you that they've been through the same thing. So I think that would be my biggest, I don't know if it's motivation, feedback, words of wisdom, but that's
All of the
it.
above. No, I appreciate you, and you did a great job. See, you
Thanks.
say you can't public speak. I think you're gonna have to try it out.
Oh gosh. I think I blacked out for a second.
No, I appreciate you.
Much.
Outstanding conversation. Um, Thank you so much for your time and service and everything you've done for our country and continue to
Thank
do for our brothers and
you.
sisters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thanks for having me on. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Hey, keep in touch. Uh,
Absolutely.
you know, uh, get on my the Facebook pages. Every day's a
Yeah.
Saturday, and you're more than welcome to plug your book there. All that. That's a place
Thanks.
for everybody to kind of use as their own. So just want
Yeah.
it to be a place full of resources. So
I will go check that out. And make sure you check out
absolutely.
the James Pugh Poe, whatever his name is.
Did
Ugh,
crazy story, dude. Crazy story. Guy faked his
insane.
death and
He like
everything.
Shawshank Redemption that shit. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
No, that
Yeah.
was a good one. No, I was like, I was reading it. I was like, oh my gosh. I guess I'm gonna have to do it a little bit different on my true crime, right? Like just
Oh.
in general, there's guys that done crazy things like that for
Fucking
5
crazy.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. I was like, there's no words.
No, I know.
No
No,
words.
that was a wild story.
Yeah, I know. I was reading like, how the fuck did he escape? Like, no one escapes.
No, it's amazing to see how many actually guys are out there, you know?
Yeah, I know. I know. Cause are we still there?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say my airman, she would always leave her door unlocked, and I would be like, "Lock your doors," and she's like, "We're on base, everything's safe." And I was like, "Check the fucking docket. Like, we are
Yeah.
not safe. Like, there's a
No.
docket of all the like
Oh, no.
criminals being tried under the UCMJ."
You
So
can go
yeah,
look up the UCMJ and it gives you all the cases in there. You can it's public
insane.
record. So it is
Yeah, I
pretty
know.
crazy.
I told her to check it out, and she found like 5 just at our base alone. I'm like, "Yeah, so lock your damn doors."
Yeah, right. Another words of wisdom, people.
Yes, lock your
Lock
doors,
your
people. You're
doors.
not, yes,
Yeah, even if you're
even if
on
you're
base.
on base.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's where the crazies live. Are you kidding me?
Man, there's crazies everywhere.
For sure. Yes.
All
Well,
right,
thank
all
you
right.
so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All
See ya.
right.
All right, friends and fam. Well, that rocks out another great interview. I really enjoyed her company. Guys, go out there tomorrow. Go check it out. Phoenix, go check out the book. It sounds amazing. It sounds really cool. We all have that crash, burn, and then that rise. So let's go ahead and give her some love. Go check that out. Hope you guys are having an amazing day out there. Remember how I say it. Don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking it. Till next time, we'll see you guys. Arr.